to my channel. It's Rosie here, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how I draw people. So this is basically just my process for how I draw all the people in my sketchbook, and you guys have been requesting this so much with so many comments, and I just felt like I had to make it just for like the sake of, because I love you guys. And yeah, so that's what we're doing in this video. Basically going to be split into these chapters: body, face, hair, and clothing. So if you want to skip ahead to a certain part of the video, then that's totally fine. But yeah, so let's get right into it. So basically I'm going to start off drawing a circle. This circle can be super messy, it doesn't have to be neat, but yeah. And then I'm going to draw 2 lines off of the circle, which is going to be for the head. I also just want to say really quick that I did make a tutorial of drawing bodies, but that was way more general. It was kind of just like how to get the correct anatomy. This is gonna be way more in depth. This is how I draw my people, because that's what you guys were kind of asking for, more like a specific tutorial. So I just want to like reiterate that for anyone who's seen that other tutorial. Anyways, like I said, I'm going to draw 2 lines off the side of the head, and then I'm going to basically connect them into the chin. Now this doesn't have to be super neat, because obviously we're going to be able to fix things later, but you kind of just want to make it like a super like rough outline of a chin, and then you don't want the chin to be too pointed or too like round. So I kind of like to go until I have about this much space left and then round it off. This is like a good rule, I think. Okay, next we're going to make the ears. So basically what I like to do is see the bottom of this head. This is basically where I like to have the ears be. So like that, kind of just like a little below that line, I think is a good spot. And then a little above that line is where I'm going to draw the eye line. And then I'm going to draw a line down the middle of the face for the nose and mouth. And then you can either make it facing this way if you want the person to be looking this way, or that way. I like to do it this way a bit and then have them be looking that way a bit, but you can do whatever you want to do. Okay, so after we do this, we're just going to connect the head a bit with the rest of the face, like that, and then you have a pretty good base. Okay, so next what we're going to do is draw the neck. So basically what I like to do is take a little bit on either side of the chin and kind of just draw a line downwards like this, and then make it go out a bit. The neck can be a bit tricky sometimes because it's hard to make it the right width, but this is like a pretty good one for at least the style I try to do. And yeah, okay, so now we're gonna make the shoulders. We're just gonna go out a bit, and this is where like the anatomy part comes in. So I like to draw a straight line for the shoulders, unless you want them like hunched over, which is like totally different. And then I'm going to draw the lines for the arms. So for this one, I'm going to draw one girl, the one side with her arm up and the other side with her arm on her hip, just for the sake of showing different poses. And I like to do this, and then of course we have the elbow, and I try to make these about the same length. So this one's a bit longer, so I'm going to make this one a bit longer. And then for the hand, I basically just like to kind of like show whatever pose I'm putting the hand in, like this. Now for the torso, I like to start off pretty simple and draw 2 lines coming inwards, because for girls you want to add a little bit more curvature, and for guys you're going to want to make it pretty straight down. And if you want to see how I draw guys, then you can also check out that how to draw bodies tutorial. But I'm assuming that the majority of you watching this video are trying to draw girls, because I don't draw that many guys because it's a bit harder. And yeah, okay, so and then we're going to make it basically this V shape on either side and coming down. And then at this point, you can either choose if you want it to be a dress or pants. For the sake of this video, I'm going to do pants. So basically, if you're doing pants, you're going to want to come in a bit again for the hips. And then I like to basically draw a line right here to show the middle, and then the thighs, and then of course the kneecaps about right here. And so you want to bring out a little of the kneecaps, have the shins come down off of that. You can basically do it in whatever position you want. This is about how I like to do it. And yeah, okay, then after that, we're going to fill out the arms a bit more. So I like to kind of bring it about this far away on either side. So basically going to fill in that arm right there. And then you want the shoulder to be pretty rounded. You don't want it to be like super like skeletal looking. And then after that, we're going to stop this arm about right here, because like we said, we're going to come out like this on either side. And you want this to cross over about like that if you're going to do like a peace sign position, is what I like to call it. And then of course the elbow is going to be more pointed, about like that. I I like to kind of bring it around a little so it's not like too pointed, and then of course this part of the arm is pointed as well. You can also look at your own arm like in a mirror or something if you need more like inspiration. And then the wrist is obviously going to be the most slender part of the arm, and then we'll bring it up into the hand. Hands are a bit tricky, but for like a peace sign, what I like to do is bring the thumb like this, and then bring out the fingers like so, and then have the second two fingers down like that. You always kind of want to be thinking about like where the fingers are. Okay, and then for the other arm, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to bring it out a bit. I kind of like to draw that line. Sometimes it helps me. And obviously, I don't go through every single one of these steps when I'm drawing because I used to, and then now I kind of understand my style enough that I don't really have to. But this is kind of like the drawn out version of how I like to make my drawings. Okay, so this pose is a bit easier. So we're going to go in for the wrist, and then the thumb is going to be behind, of course, if you have your hand on your hip, and then the fingers are going to be on this side. And so we're going to do like this, and then of course you can make like one right here if you want to. It doesn't always have to be the exact same. That's kind of a bad hand, but it's basically the gist of it. Okay, and then so for this, let's make the chest a bit more rounded, and then of course you can put the waist at whatever you want. You can make it more slender, more wider, basically whatever you want to do. And then like that. And then we can now erase some of the lines because we don't really need them much anymore. And we can erase the shoulder line to kind of see where we're at with the shoulders. So you basically want the shoulders to be at the same height, and then of course come into the neck. And then if you want to draw collarbones, you can also do that kind of like this. Okay, so now let's focus on the rest of the drawing. So now we kind of got the body outline. Now we're going to do the face. Okay. So for faces, I like to draw the eyes first because it kind of sets the tone for where the rest of the face is going to be. So this is our eyeline, of course. So, okay, so basically I like to start with a bit of a slanted line there and then bring into the top, and then I do the same thing on the other side like this. And you want to make sure the eyes are about at the same length and height like that. And then after making that line, I kind of like to bring it out into a bit of like a wing, kind of the same way that eyeliner is drawn, because it just kind of helps me keep everything like even and stuff. So basically like that. And then I like to bring it down a bit over here on the side of the eye and out again. This is like the specific way I draw eyes. I've seen a lot of people draw eyes this way, like other YouTubers and stuff as well. But it's kind of just a very simple way to make sure the eyes are in the same place. Now, this is by no means like anime style. So if you want that, you probably have to draw quite a bit differently. But this is like more of a cartoonish style. So yeah, I just want to get that out of the way. Okay, now I'm going to bring it up a little bit. And then about this far above the eye, I'm going to make the eyelid. So many people forget the eyelids, and I think it's so important because everyone has eyelids, of course. Okay, and then basically for the bottom of the eye, I like to go like this and then kind of make a bit of a divot right here because I think it's just kind of cute, and then bring it out a bit like lighter like that. And then I'm going to draw the eyelashes. So of course eyelashes start about right here, so I'm basically going to go like that and bring the eyelashes up above the eye and then do some right there, and then I also like to add a few on the bottom. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And you want to make them pretty even because having like super non-symmetrical eyelashes can kind of sometimes take away from the rest of the drawing. And then sometimes I like to add a few on the other side like that. And then of course we have the inside of the eye right there. And then so for this drawing, I'm going to have the eyes facing forward just for the sake of it, but you can also have the eyes facing off in one direction or something like that. So I'm going to make the eyes about like that. And as you can see, that's fairly even. It's never going to be perfect, but yeah. Okay, and then about this far above the eye, I'm going to draw the eyebrows. And so I like to do the front part of the eyebrow straight, and then the second one like curved down. Unless, of course, you want to draw like someone being angry or something, then you're probably going to have the eyebrows go down a bit more. Or for sad, they're going to be facing more upwards like this. And then for the nose, I like to go down from the eyelids like that, and then I like to have the nose about right here and like so, and then add a little bridge on top. And then for the mouth, I go a little bit down from the nose and I basically draw the smile line, and then I'm going to draw the lips on top of it, and I want to keep the center of the nose basically in line with the top of the lips. And then the bottom of the lips does not necessarily have to be connected, but it can be if you want it to be. But in my opinion, I don't really like to. The lips can be smaller or bigger, like whatever you choose, since this isn't realism. But that's about how I like to draw the lips. And then yeah, I'm actually going to move the nose up a bit just for aesthetics sake. So we're going to go in with our kneaded eraser. And yeah, so then we're going to make our nose about right there, just a little further up so we can make our lips a bit bigger as well. And like that. And this is about how I draw my faces. And then of course if you're going to draw blush, then the blush would be about right here, although I normally do that with marker. Okay, now let's try to move on to the hair. So for the hair, we're basically going to do, I'm going to try to draw some bangs because I feel like that's something that people struggle with a lot. So the way I like to draw bangs is basically in the middle of the head there's a bit of a part, and then I like to bring it down like a swoop like that, one piece, and then I like to draw another piece. And I like to continue doing this to the outer part of the head, and then when you get right here, you kind of want to bring the bangs down in like a little bit of a swoop. And then on the other side, I'm also going to draw the same swoopy thing, and then do the same little flyaway at the bottom. Now this looks a little bit right now, but I promise it's going to get better. So now that we've done the bangs, we kind of want to bring it out to the side a bit in a little bit of a V shape like this, because this is where the hair is going to be getting longer. And then on top of the head, we're also going to want that V shape a bit. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the hair down. So this is for more of a curly hair look, but of course if you want it to be straight, you can kind of just go like this. And then I'm going to draw lines like this all the way down. And then in order to get that curvy look, basically what I'm going to do is on the outside I'm going to draw the same line, and then I'm going to switch and do it on the inside, outside, inside, outside. This is an extremely easy way to get curly hair to look more realistic. It looks better than just making a bunch of random lines. And then we're going to keep doing this down. And obviously if this were just my drawing, I do this much looser, but I'm doing it very like precise so you guys can see it, which is why it probably looks a little bit unnatural. But anyway, then we're going to do the same thing on the other side, and we're basically just going to bring it down like this. And then we're going to do the inside, outside, same deal. And then you can basically make this thicker or more like tight coils, however you want to do it. And then we're basically going to make some more like that, kind of just make it a bit more looser looking. And then we can put some in front of the shirt, and you want to make sure they end in kind of a cute little point like that. And so that is basically how I like to draw hair. And then now for the last part of the video, let's move on to clothes. Although I do want to say you can also make some more little flyaways in the hair, which I think sometimes make it like more realistic, and I think it makes it look a little cuter sometimes, especially when you're drawing bangs. And then of course if you want to add a little accessory, you could do like a little bow or something cute, just like spice up your drawing depending on like what the theme and the idea is. Okay, so let's move on to the clothes now. Okay, now for clothes, basically I'm going to show you guys how I draw jeans. And well, I'm going to show you how I draw pants and then skirts and then also tops. So basically for the top, I'm going to draw a little bit of a sweater. So I'm going to kind of make it a bit looser. So if you're drawing sweaters that are oversized, you want to make it a bit out from the dress. And then if you're going to tuck it in, then you can kind of make a little bit of a divot like this. This is how I have to draw sweaters because I think it's very cute. And then of course you can kind of make the bottom of where it's tucked in. And then the neckline can be wherever you want it to be. I'm going to make a turtleneck. So basically for this, I'm going to go out from the neck a little bit on both sides and make this top part and then connect it around the back of the neck. And then kind of make a little like divot right here, so it looks like it's kind of sitting on top of the person's collarbones. And then I'm going to draw the shoulders, and I'm going to bring it down like this, and so, and then kind of make it come out a bit from the wrists to come to a point at the hand. And then I'm going to do that same thing on the other side, because this is kind of showing how the sweater is not totally form-fitting. And then of course you can make a little cuff at the hand. Okay, so now for pants, I just like to follow the exact form of the legs down, and then of course I would add like some buttons right here or something. But for this drawing, I'm going to show you how I draw skirts, because that needs a little more explanation than pants. So for a skirt, I like to follow the line of the hip down until you kind of get to this point where the hip goes in, and then kind of do a bit of a flare out like this, and then bring it down. So I like to do a little bit of swoopy thing, so where you go up and then down like this, and bring it in. So you want to bring it around right here. This is about how I like to draw skirts. And then of course you can do whatever pattern you want, and then you can erase the legs right here. And you could do like a plaid pattern. For plaid, I like to do 2 lines close together in a straight pattern like that, and then I like to always follow the line of the skirt like that for the bottom, and then make it more straight as you get to the top. So that's about how I like to draw skirts. And then of course you could add a little pattern to the sweater, like a little flower or something. And then if you want to get more detailed, you can also add stitching on the sides or on the sleeves like that. Okay, so now that our drawing is pretty much finished with the drawing part, then we're going to do the line art. So I'm going to show you guys how I do line art really quick, just so you can see how I get everything done. So first up, I use my kneaded eraser, and I'm going to basically just roll it over the entire drawing to lighten it until the sketch is fairly light, because this makes erasing it in the end much, much easier. So basically just like this. And then of course sometimes you get a bit of texture outside of there, and this eraser is getting pretty old. Okay, so once your entire drawing is lightened, you're going to go in with a pen and start drawing the features. So you want to make sure you keep the pen pretty close to the line art. And yeah, so I'm just going to do this line art. So basically I have to go over every line that's more thicker a few times and everything. So I'm just going to do this line art, and then I'm going to show you guys what it looks like in the end, so you guys can kind of see what it looks like when the drawing's finished, because the sketch is, you know, pretty messy and everything. So yeah. Okay, so here's what the final drawing looks like. As you can see, I kind of just went in with some pen and cleaned it up. So this is basically how I draw people, totally non-gatekeeping tutorial. And if you guys want to see how this turns out when it's colored, make sure to subscribe, and I'll be posting it on my community channel or in a short. And then beyond that, I just think that like everyone has their own art style, and I think that everyone should try to find their own art style. But maybe hopefully this video maybe like helped you kind of find your art style a little bit or something. And I just know a lot of people have been asking for this, but I mean, of course the reality is you can't completely adapt someone else's art style, because it's just like not really how it works. But I hope this helped you, and I hope that everyone who's been asking for this feels at least a little bit satisfied. To be honest, I'm really bad at tutorials because I'm just like bad at explaining how I do things, but I really tried my best on this. And yeah, I hope this was the tutorial you guys were looking for. And stay tuned, because I'm going to be posting some more informational videos about things like growing your channel, how I color, how I shade, so many more things, tips to like get more subscribers, and all that stuff. So make sure you stay tuned, and love you all. So thank you so much for 12,000 subscribers, and love you guys. See you guys in the next video. Bye!